Okay, folks, hey, listen, this is Anthony Nelson, and I want to welcome you to the Church 724 podcast, which we're calling I Heard It in the Lobby. I want to let you know that we're all drinking Lucky Perk coffee this morning, just in case the Lucky Perk people are watching, and it is good coffee. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Kristen, what are you drinking this morning? What's the coffee you're drinking?
I believe I have an almond milk latte with cinnamon and honey.
How is it?
It's good.
Is it good? Is it tasty?
Yes.
All right. Now, I made you one of those drinks at home, and I didn't drink it, but is mine on par, or is it close to Lucky Perk? Thinking that we want Lucky Perk as a sponsor.
Not even close.
Okay, there you go. Get your coffee at Lucky Perk. Now, today we have with us some very important guests.
Yes. We have Justin and Alli, and they are coming on as our new youth pastors, and we are very excited to be talking to them today.
Very excited. All right. Well, Justin and Alli, thank you for being with us this morning. We're running a little late, but here we are. And this is the first podcast, so almost anything can happen. Are you ready for this?
We are ready.
We are.
Okay.
We're so thankful to be here.
Cool. Well, do tell us, how did you end up in Idaho?
In Idaho, so we, without a ton of background information, we were working at Anytime Fitness in Mississippi, then St. Louis, and then our boss just randomly offered us to move to Idaho. And first he said Boise, Idaho, and our first thought was, I have no idea where that's at. And then, so we just said, yeah, let's do it. And then we moved here for work for Anytime Fitness, and yeah, that's how we're here now. And I'm sure you'll ask more questions about get into it more, but that's how we ended up here anyway. But very blessed to be here.
All right. Well, can you tell us how you ended up at Church 724?
Yeah, for sure. So when we first moved here, we started looking around for different churches. We first asked Justin's dad, like, hey, do you know any churches around that would be good for us to go to? And this was one of the first churches that he told us. We looked you guys up online. Then we decided to come try you guys out Easter. And we knew immediately when we stepped in after the service was over that this was the place that we wanted to be. This is where God had called us to be.
Well, we found the church. I think, yeah, we there was a couple we were going to try, but and see at this point we just moved from St. Louis, and we had a pretty good church there we were going to, and we moved here, and we really didn't, or I don't like the process of like trying different churches out. So I was like, man, I hope the right church just comes and opens up. But anyways, yeah, my dad sent us this church, and then we looked it up online, and this was, of course, the church was transitioning still at the time, and so we weren't really sure about the church at all, but we just saw that it opened at 10:30 on Sundays, and it was Sunday morning, probably like 7, 8 o'clock, whatever, and Allie was like, and at this point, we've been watching online services, because that happened during COVID, then you kind of get comfortable with it, and then, but anyways, and we saw it, and Allie's like, hey, let's try this church out, and I was like, okay, well, hey, call. I was like, I don't really know if they're opening or anything, so I said call, and if they're having church, we'll go. And long story short, she called. She got Pastor Anthony on the phone, and he said, yeah, we're having church this morning, 10:30. I was like, perfect. And yeah, and so it just happened, random coincidence, and we just came Easter morning.
Yeah, I still think I remember that phone call. It was so random, and I almost didn't pick the phone up. I was like, listening to it ring for just a moment. I thought, well, I'll pick it up, and it was you on the phone. And I thought, well, that must be God kind of connecting the dots. So
I can remember talking after church, like one afternoon, just kind of debriefing of the service and our family. And we're like, hey, has anybody met that nice looking young couple? They keep coming back. And like us of little faith, like you said, we were in a rebuilding process, and we were just so thrilled that you guys kept coming back. And we're like, we've got to, connect with them. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a real moment where we felt like God was taking care of the future of the church. Not that he wasn't before, but sometimes in the process of doing what God asks you to do, you sometimes wonder if he's going to send people, if he's going to build people up, and he's doing all of that here, so we're very grateful. But so you were in St. Louis. Let me just do a little reverse here. You're from Mississippi. You went to St. Louis because you lost a bet, or how did that work? I'm just joking. If you're from St. Louis, God bless you. How did that happen?
So we originally, so at this point in our lives, we were engaged in Mississippi, and I was looking for a job hunting. I was looking to be a personal trainer somewhere, anywhere. I wanted to be an independent personal trainer. Looking back, glad I didn't do that because they make very little money, and it's very sad. But anyways, I started working for Anytime Fitness in Mississippi part-time, very little part-time, and then Alli came, and she worked out there a lot, and we met the owner of that gym, and we made a connection with him, and but this is kind of how God works, and we'll give a little more also later, but we just wanted to move somewhere, and so we told the owner, or I told the owner, I just randomly, I still have the Instagram DM, I texted him and said, hey, you should buy a gym in Tennessee, because we just wanted to go to Tennessee at the time, mostly because they had mountains, and now Idaho mountains, so it kind of works out.
This is next level, isn't it?
But anyways, we texted him and said, hey, you should buy a gym in Tennessee, and we'll go run it. And he said, oh, you want to run a gym? I was like, yeah. He said, okay, cool. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I was like, okay, sweet. And anyways, I talked to him in person, and he said, hey, I have this gym in St. Louis, and I want y'all to go up there and run it. And immediately at that time, I was like, man, there's no way I can get my parents to agree to that. And so I still have the messages too. I sent them to Alli. I texted Alli and said, hey, you want to move to Missouri? or St. Louis? And she was like, what? And anyways, I went home and told my dad about it, and immediately he was like, yeah, that's what you should do. And this is crazy. Like usually my dad is always, because I'm always coming up with these crazy ideas, and he's always kind of crushing my dreams. not really, but in a good way. He probably stops me from doing things. Anyways, probably wasn't God's will. But anyways, so he said, hey, yeah, that's what you should do. And I was like, oh, man. So we went there, visited St. Louis, and immediately it was like, hey, this is a God thing. So that was the first door that really opened up. And we spent a year and a half in St. Louis. And, yeah, it was a great start to our career and life and marriage for sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well, speaking of marriage, you want to tell us how you guys met?
Yeah, for sure. So we went to the same middle school, high school. I started going to this private school in our hometown in 6th grade. Justin started going his 7th grade year, so we started going to the school at the same exact time. I was in 7th grade. He was in 8th grade. We briefly talked a little bit back and forth. Our parents actually lived in the same neighborhood. They're basically neighbors. And so we had talked a little bit back and forth. Nothing ever came from that, but we met in school. And fast forward to his senior year, my junior year, we ended up just like reconnecting and started dating from there.
Yeah, I do remember when she was in, I think 9th grade, I was in 10th grade, and we talked again a little bit, but because I remember sitting next to her at a football game. This is super random, and then I had one of my best friends liked her, and so he almost wanted to fight me for sitting next to her. So, nice. And they dated a little bit, and then fast forward to my I guess going into my senior year. So I had a girlfriend at the time. We've been dating for off and on, like a long time, like well over a year, and it probably wasn't the right relationship, and it wasn't. But anyways, my dad really liked Alli for, obvious reasons, but he really liked Alli, and this is why I had a different girlfriend. And I literally remember at the time, Alli, I remember at the time, Alli, she used to do these.
I used to do these like on Instagram where you can do stories. I just would go on there and I would talk on my stories and talk about my relationship with Jesus and share scriptures and things like that.
And so I remember one day I walked outside and Dad was watching her videos, and he shows it to me and goes, "Hey, do you know this girl here? She goes to your school." And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, yeah, I know her." And he kept showing it to me, and so yeah, it was that was the first, not the first God thing, but a very obvious God thing. And then yeah, long story short, fast forward, we talked a little bit more. I ended my relationship at the time, and then me and Alli started dating officially 2017.
Yeah, October 30th, 2017.
Yep, and then yeah, the rest is history. We dated for probably 4 or 5 years, engaged for a year, and then we've been married now for 2 years, a little over 2 years.
Well, we got to give your dad credit for crushing those small dreams, encouraging you to reach for the stars and pointing you in the right direction of Alli. That really is awesome. When you first thought of yourself as a serious couple, what was that moment like for you? Where were you? What were you doing?
So I remember the third time we had hung out, Justin had just left. He came over to my house. We hung out. I think we watched one of the Dark Knight movies. And
I forgot about that.
And he left. And as soon as he left, I remember I was standing in my bathroom.
That was the first time we ever hung out.
That was the first time?
That was the very first time we ever hung out ever.
Okay, the first time we ever hung out. Thanks for correcting me.
Christian relationships move fast.
I remember I was standing in my bathroom and just thinking about how in awe I was of the like encounter that we had like just had, like just the short time that we had together. And I remember telling myself I'm gonna marry this man. Like this is the one that God has designed for me to marry.
Yeah, that was the first time we ever hung out. And we watched The Dark Knight Rises, which is my favorite movie. But it's just my favorite movie. I forgot we watched that, yeah. And yeah, me too. Like the first time we hung out was at her house. And yeah, just about immediately, it was just like when we came to this church. It's just one of those things. It's just a kind of a God confirmation. And I was like, yeah, she's the one.
The Holy Spirit was obviously doing some stuff there. Wow. What an amazing story.
Well, so you've talked about, Justin, you were a pastor's kid growing up, and you've both talked about how obviously God put you together, and you've got a career now in the, what do you call it, fitness industry? I don't know. Yeah. But now you're heading also into a ministry position. Do you want to talk a little bit about feeling a calling here to ministry, or how you ended up here?
Yeah, definitely. We, both of us have felt a calling of some sort of ministry like forever. Growing up, I've had different preachers speak over me, different people, and I knew there was some sort of ministry, which I believe there's ministry for everybody in any sense. People think ministry is just being on a platform preaching, but ministry is anything. And but me growing up, my greatest ministry, I guess I could say, was the influence that I had on my friends. So I had, over the course of my middle school, high school life, I had many friends that would come, like on Wednesday nights, they'd come hang out at my house. We would go to church, and so I had tons of friends that I brought to church with me. And so that was my first probably interaction with ministry, was bringing friends to church. And I ended up, probably 10, 12 people from my school took them to the youth group. They got super involved in the church. And yeah, so ministry for me was my friends. Alli had, she got pretty involved, with the church.
With your church specifically?
No, just church in general.
Church in general, for me growing up, looked a little bit different than it did for him. My grandparents played a huge role in my life, and I could never thank them enough for that. But they went to a really small Baptist church right down from their house, and I spent a lot of time with them, and they would always take me to church, and that's where I first got connected within churches. Actually, the first church that I ever sang at, which kind of like started my worship, like my heart for worship. So that was like my first upbringing in church, connection with church.
Yeah, we've both been part of the praise, the worship team, praise team for a while. So that was a source of ministry. And growing up, I spoke a couple of times in youth group, and youth was always a calling for me, I believe, and I felt that. Funny enough, when we started coming here, one thing I realized, I was like, I don't think they have a youth pastor, and the first thing Pastor Anthony asked us to do was maybe help with the young adult ministry. And we were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And then as soon as we walked out of these doors, actually we were walking back to the car, and I mentioned to Alli, I said, well, I was kind of hoping he would ask about youth ministry, but I said, we can do young adult. That'd be fine, but I prefer to do youth. And then
I think our mind was always open to doing whatever kind of ministry God had called us, but we both felt that feeling like right after we left, like I wish it would have been youth.
Yeah, I'm just muddling my way through this. I'm trying to listen to what the Lord wants, but I think we got it right in the end.
Yes.
Yeah, we might have taken the scenic route there, but wow. So I didn't know that was kind of a private conversation you guys had. Yeah. Okay, well, God's in charge, man. This is a good thing. Wow.
So what excites you about youth ministry here at Church 724?
I think for me, me and my sister started going to church when I was about 14 or 15. And at that point, I was old enough to get involved in youth. And I had never really experienced that before because the church that I went to with my grandparents was an older congregation, so they didn't have youth. And so when we started going to this church in my hometown, I immediately got connected with the youth, and I felt such a sense of belonging there. And that really had a huge impact on my life as a Christian, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for that. And I think that draws me into youth ministry so much because I see what it did for me personally, and I know and I want to do that same thing for other students.
Yeah. This church specifically, the first actual encounter we had with the kids was we took the trip to McCall, and we got to know them, and immediately I was like, man, these kids actually they're really cool. Like I enjoy every single one of them, and it was very obvious at first. The heart I kind of had for the kids, because I was like, man, they I felt like they looked up to both of us, and it's a good burden, because it's like, but anyways, yeah, that part of it was very exciting, and just the church itself, we have a lot of youth already, and they're excited about it, and they continuously come, and we're blessed with a good group of kids for sure.
Well, we're blessed to have you. I know they are super excited. Our teens are super excited you're here.
Yeah, you're a real answer to prayer. Like, I mean, we were scratching our heads for a little bit, but yeah, answer to prayer. Boy, it's awesome. Is there any exciting vision you want to share with us about what you have in mind for youth?
Yeah. The main thing is with the youth, we want to make sure that they know that, like, the youth group itself, like, it's a place for them and a place where they can feel like they belong, and they feel like they can just kind of be free. So, like, me growing up, youth group it was that place. We had a great group of friends, and we had a place to call our own. And so our vision one is we want to have an area or a space where the kids, like, this is our place, whether it's a youth room, youth, whatever. But they have a place of belonging. They have a place of family, of connections, friendships, and so that first. But we envision, of course, growing and reaching out to more people. But we want the kids to experience, to really have fun, to have great connections, and to grow in their faith. And also, a big thing that drives us is we want the kids not to just have a great time in youth group, but we want them to be great just people when they get out of the youth group, because most people they leave youth group. And I forgot what the study was, but somebody said this before, but like 80% of, or something around that number, but 80% of kids once they leave the youth group, graduate college, they never return back to church, or they do when they're 40. But we want these kids to graduate, still be involved in the church, and still be involved in ministry, whether they're in the secular world or they're actually in ministry. But yeah.
No, I think that's a great vision to have. I think that's something we share in our heart with you, that we don't want them to just walk out the doors because they didn't make the connection with the church, even though this is one little facet of the church. We want the entire church to be the church. We need every generation. We need them, and they need us. And that's I appreciate that about you guys. I appreciate your heart there, for sure.
Should we ask some lighter questions now?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do some light stuff.
Okay. What is your favorite meal, Alli?
Favorite meal is gonna have to be pizza. Just plain pepperoni pizza.
Okay.
Where do you like your pizza from?
There's a place in the village called Grimaldi's. Definitely my favorite place to eat.
Okay. We haven't been there. Yeah. Have to try it out.
We eat a lot of pizza.
Yes.
Domino's, Little Caesars. How about you, Justin? What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, if I knew I could get it on time, is boneless wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. But I never go there because the service is really bad. No offense to anybody if they work at Buffalo Wild Wings, but I love it. But yeah, if you order wings, it might not ever come, but that's my favorite.
Interesting.
They'll eventually come. You just have to wait a while.
What kind of coffee drinks are you drinking from Lucky Perk?
From Lucky Perk, I just have cream and Splenda, regular coffee.
And I've got iced coffee with oat milk.
Nice. We do have some lighter questions. What was the question? If you were stranded on an island and you could only have 5 people with you, who would those 5 people be, and why would they be there with you?
Stranded on an island, do we have a chance of getting off the island, or it's like, hey,
it is what it is, man. We don't know, 50-50.
On an island, I'd probably take Alli.
Thank you.
Okay, that's one. Well, I guess if I just lived my days on the island, I'd take Alli, mom, dad, sister, brother. There you go. That's 5 right there. I'd just take my family, I guess. So you're staying. This is like Robinson Crusoe style. We're there forever. We're making the most of it.
Nice. How about you, Alli?
I would definitely take Justin, and then I would also take my grandfather, my granddad. He grew up he was in the military, so he would be very vital for keeping us alive and knowing how to thrive within these areas. I feel like that's 2. I know this isn't a person, but I'm going to take my dog. My dog makes me so happy. She's only 7 pounds. She would probably get eaten, but she brings...
Would you be eating her?
I would not eat her. I wouldn't. She brings me so much happiness and joy and love, so I have to take her. And then I had 2 other. I'd probably take my mom and Justin's mom. So that's my 5 people.
Okay. Well, let's say you do get off that island eventually. Where is the first place you'd want to visit? Let's say you could go anywhere in the world for a vacation.
For vacation.
Would it be on an island again?
No.
For a vacation, anywhere we'd want to go. See, me and Alli are really into amusement parks and things like that. Fun stuff. So I don't know. I'm sure I've seen videos. There's some amusement parks in different countries that'd be really cool to visit. So something like that. I don't know a specific one, but definitely something like that would be really cool.
Maybe like the Universal in Tokyo.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Or Paris.
That'd be cool. Super cool.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Where would you never visit? Even if you were paid $1 million.
Probably back to the resort in Cancun we had on our honeymoon. It didn't go well. So. No. I wouldn't go back there now, even if I got paid. I'd pay not to go.
What happened there? What happened?
It was just a bad time. There
were so many things.
This was the honeymoon.
Went wrong. Yes, this was our honeymoon.
Okay. Yeah, man. Everything from All the travel, every plane we got on was either canceled, delayed, or something. Every bus ride was late, delayed, something. Food was bad, weather was bad.
Yes, they had just had a tropical storm, and so there was no beach. It was covered in seaweed. The water was very brown. It rained every single day that we were there. We just had a really bad experience.
Yeah, it was just bad overall. We're still married though, so
Yes.
it worked out.
That's good. That's good. What does your morning routine look like? I mean, being in the health industry, the fitness industry rather, I'm assuming that you've probably got a little bit of a regimented morning routine.
Definitely.
Yes.
So I wake up at about 5:45. Anyway, it depends on what time I go to sleep. I try to get 7 hours, but either 5:30 to 6 o'clock. I wake up, and I usually then wake Allie up, and I ask her, "Do you want to get up now, or do you mean wake you up later?" And anyways, I get up, and the first thing I do is I read the Bible, and then from there I go in the kitchen. I turn the TV on to some sort of nice ambience, to have some nice noise going on. I plug the Christmas tree up because Allie still has the Christmas tree up for some reason.
Thank you for.
But it gives us some light. And then I start my coffee. I drink a bottle of water, and actually drink 2 bottles of water as soon as I get up. Water is very important. And then make my coffee, stick it in the microwave for later. Then I go wake Allie up officially, and then maybe she gets up. She has been. She's been doing good. I get in the shower. I listen to some sort of message, something positive, and encouraging, whatever. And I pray while I'm in the shower as well. And then, anyways, I get out, get ready, and then I go get my coffee and I read. I read a lot of leadership books, something leadership material, John Maxwell. But I read that for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then from there I go to the gym and work out. But that is routine.
So
every morning.
what time are you going to bed if you're waking up at 5:30?
I go to bed typically around 10, like 10:30. If I'm asleep by 10:30, perfect, because that's 7 hours right there. They're about 10:30, yeah.
Nice.
And Allie's is pretty much the same routine.
Mine's pretty much the same. I've been doing really good on getting up the same time as him, so don't let him fool you.
She's been better.
But normally I get up, first thing I do is I take Juliet, that's our little dog. I take her outside, let her use the restroom, come back up, then I drink some water, make my coffee. I'll lay on or sit on the couch and read. Me and Jules will sit on the couch and cuddle together, and we read the Bible, and then I'll read some type of leadership book. Justin's really stirred up a passion in me for leadership, so I'll read some type of leadership book, then I get ready for the day. And then I'll go work out. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That sounds great. Very disciplined.
Yeah.
What is your favorite season of the year?
You're still in the Christmas season, it sounds like.
Yeah, all year round. Favorite season, honestly, I have favorite stuff about every season. Favorite season.
That one's really hard. That one's really hard.
I love the winter. I love October, Halloween. I love Christmas. We love the summer, going to water parks with the family and stuff. We love fall, football season, and all that. So, honestly, but favorite, winter, Christmas, for sure.
Yes,
Definitely.
I would
We'd have
definitely
to.
say winter. We are big Christmas people. We love decorating for Christmas, watching Christmas movies, everything Christmas.
Then with the snow, Beautiful.
Yes. We've never
Beautiful.
experienced all of this snow before, so that's just like amped it up so much.
So this was your first Christmas in Idaho?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Wow. And coming from Mississippi, St. Louis, it's probably a bit of a culture shock then, but like in a good way.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
definitely in a good way.
definitely, yeah. Mississippi Christmas, your shorts and a t-shirt. So
Oh yeah, man. Well, you've mentioned The Dark Knight like a few times. I would just be curious, what makes that movie so appealing to you? And how did that affect your first date?
yeah, so we watched it at her house just for the reason I really don't know why, but I just saw the movie. I was like, it was it's kind of super awkward. We were it's our first time ever hanging out, and I was like, oh man. So I just picked a movie that I'd watched before, and I think during the movie I was like telling her what was going to happen and stuff, just like sparking conversation. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
Was he doing spoilers for you? Was that
Kinda, just to like cover up the awkward.
yeah, it was a great way to kind of break the ice.
Yeah.
And
nice?
it was good. But we watched that, and for some reason I just love those movies. Actually, the reason I started working out and that led to working in the fitness and stuff was literally those movies. And
What? How's it? What? Why?
man, I don't know. Last night we watched with Soren and Colin. We watched the Batman Begins, the first one. But
maybe I should be watching these movies. Maybe I'd want to work out.
we could get everybody to watch the movies. We can change the world. But
We've taken a swerve here.
But anyways, long story short, these movies it's just very powerful the way they tell the stories. It's a very they feel like very real movies, and because he's a normal person besides being a billionaire, but he's a normal person that built his body, did these things, and impacted me so much because in the last movie, anyways, he built himself up. He was literally broken, and he was physically broken. His back was broken, but he built himself back up to fight evil. But it was just super it was super motivating for me because in that time of my life, I had felt like I was kind of broken. I really didn't know what I was doing career-wise, really anything. The only thing I had going right was me and Alli were together, but everything else was kind of didn't know what was happening. And so that movie, literally, I finished watching the 3 movies, and I was like, man, it's like I want to rise up. I want to do more. I want to work out. I want to, have confidence. And but yeah, that's so literally people ask why I start working out. Everybody else has these crazy awesome stories. I say, well, I watched some Batman movies and wanted to start working out.
I think it's interesting that I see that as a God thing. He inspired you with a story that is, in some ways, it's a story told and retold throughout history, and you can find strains of it in the Scripture, in the Bible. So it's not unbiblical.
Mm-hmm.
We're broken. We get built back up to fight evil. It's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like that backstory.
So, Alli, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
It would probably be, man, this one's such a hard one. There's so many.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Probably to read minds, like telepathy.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good. Justin's nervous about that.
Oh my goodness. We're all nervous now.
What an odd superpower. How would that help you fight crime?
Oh yeah, that is right.
I guess if you're picking out, like, they have a list of suspects or perks, you can say he did it. I guess.
Wasn't Tom Cruise in a movie that did that? Like they had the seers sort of.
I don't know, but like being able to read minds, I feel like that would be a good superpower because say you were like gonna fight these people, you could read their mind of what their plan was to attack you, and then I'd be one step ahead of them.
We have no other
2 steps.
superpowers.
Good
So you
thinking.
can't stop it.
But if I was with the team, like all the other superhero movies,
Yeah.
then I would bring a great power to the team.
Can you imagine what that'd be like for you, Justin? I'm just imagining here.
I think that's pretty good for the teens, too.
Oh yeah.
I can read your mind. I know what you're thinking. 15-year-old boy.
Yep. Yeah. You're getting an adult in the room. Yeah.
Anyways, what would yours be?
Man, superpower. Let me think. Is this normal Earth, not aliens Earth?
I don't know. Crystal,
Whatever you
what
think.
is it?
It's up to you.
Let me see. If it's just normal Earth, I'd probably just do flight. Just like fly everywhere. Just do that. If it was a Marvel type of Earth where aliens are coming every other day and attacking people, then maybe I'd go with just super strength. Just super strength, yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. I'd want to fly.
Flying would be cool.
I I'd like to be able to be invisible.
That's a good one. I should have said
My
that.
children have asked me this a lot, and they've always said, "Mom, what would your superpower be?" I say, "To turn invisible." Yeah.
That would be so weird.
I like it. I like it.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry, I won't misuse it.
That's what they all say. Oh man, do we have any other great questions that we stole off the internet here? I do have to say, you guys are an enjoyable couple. We have fun anytime we're with you, and it's really exciting what the future could look like. If you, and I don't want to put you on the spot at all, but in 5 years, what would you like life to look like for you?
5 years. So that'd put us at about 28 and 29. We would like to have a kid for sure. At least one kid by that time. Man, I don't know. That's the thing. Everything where we are right now and everything we've done has just been God just opening doors. Just like, 2 years ago, we never would imagine being up here. 4 years ago, we never would imagine being in St. Louis. So everything, we're just very open to what God wants us to do, and we're very accepting of what we feel like He wants us to do. So 5 years can be anything. But just overall speaking, yeah, we'd like to have a kid. We'd like to see this church just really be that place that people want to go to, and to grow. We want the youth group to grow, expand, of course, and we want to have a great culture of kids. And we'd like to be in our personal work or the other work we're doing in the gyms. We'd like to be freed up to where we can do more. We can be more active with the kids throughout the week. What do you think? 5 years?
Yeah, no, I think you said it perfectly. Everything that has led us up to where we are now, we have just been come into it with an open mind. I really just think that testifies to the goodness of God. Just because even when the Idaho thing, they were like, "Do you want to move to Idaho?" And we were like, "Yeah." Like, we just felt like at peace about it. And then a month later, we were in Idaho. So we're definitely just we'll continue to be in a place to where we just continue to say yes to God. And I hope we're always, even in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we're still at that place in our lives to where we're always open to saying yes to what God has for us.
Yeah, that's the thing that's hard. Like, they'll ask us in the gyms and stuff, what's your year goal, 2 year goal? And I believe it's great to have goals, but
For sure.
there's a difference between a destination goal and a growth goal. So a destination goal is what everybody sets, especially like January rolls around. It's like, I want to be at this, I want to do this. And what tends to happen is the human nature always craves for more. I mean, it just constantly craves for more. And, if some people say, I want this promotion, when they get that, then they either settle or they're like, I want some more. So my goal is, which is I feel like has led us here, is to grow continuously in our self-leadership, in our ministry, and in our life. As long as we're learning, we're continuing to grow. And so, of course, there's things like I want in 5 years, but I just know if we continue to do the best with what we're given and continues to grow in our own ministry leadership, that in 5 years, I feel like life will be amazing, and then it'll keep being amazing. And so, but we are focused on today, what we can do now, and growth in this church, in our own lives.
That's good. That's very good. Do you have other questions?
I don't know how we're doing on time here.
We can go as long as you want. I mean, I'm having fun,
Yeah.
but I mean, that was just that was a great way to end.
Yes.
I think probably.
Yeah. It's been fun talking with you guys.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
That's
it's
been
been a
great.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're
Glad.
so thankful to be here.
Yes, and we're glad you're here. Yeah.
Yes.
We're glad to be here.
Yes.
Grateful and thankful.
Oh, hey, we'll say really quick, because we were talking about our first Sunday here. Because I would say that's just how we were confirmed that like this is the church. Because as weird as it was, we came here that Easter morning. First, we didn't know if this was the right church or not because the live streams we had watched were filmed in the other building.
Oh, that's right.
And so when we walked in, literally we were standing right over there, and Alli said, "I don't think this is the right church." And
I literally thought we were at the wrong church.
and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she pulled up the video and she said, "That's not the sanctuary." And I was like, and I literally said, "Alli, where are we at right now?" I said, "What church are we at?" And then I think she pulled up a picture of y'all and the family, and we saw one of y'all, and we're like,
I saw him, and I was like, wait, no, that's the pastor right
looks
there.
like him. And but anyways, we were like, what church did we just walk into? And so we walked in and sat down, and literally immediately I felt like yeah, this is it. Like we'll stay here. Like there was no thought about maybe we'll try somewhere else. We immediately said, yeah, this is it. And we actually talked about it after the service. We didn't know anything. We met Pastor Anthony very briefly. But I literally said, yeah, this church, it seems like they're in a transition period to where they're something is accruing or brewing and something is happening. So I was like, I felt in my spirit, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to be a part of this church that is this transition. I felt like some type of transition was happening. Something was growing and something was about to happen. I was like, man, this church has a lot of potential too. So it was just crazy. Like literally, we immediately thought, confirmed, like this is our church. So there was no doubt in our mind.
Wow, that is so cool. Because I think we resonate with that too, that there's something on the horizon. We're moving in that direction, and it's really accruing and brewing. Oh, that's good. Man, I'm going to steal that right there.
That could be a coffee shop name.
We accrue and brew.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
very
very
good.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we love you. Thank you. And thank you for watching with us. We hope that you've enjoyed this. I heard it in the lobby, our first podcast here at Church 724. Anything else? Are we missing anything?
No.
Okay.
I think we're good.
I don't know when you'll watch this, but it'll probably be on Sunday. We hope to get it out. So we will have already seen everybody Sunday morning, and we love you. We're grateful for you. Grateful to be serving the Lord with you. Blessings on you.